Angelina Jordan, the darkest criticism, the silent battles, and the strength behind the barefoot star. When people talk about Angelina Jordan, they usually talk about her voice. They talk about how she won Norway's Got Talent at just 8 years old. They talk about the moment she stunned the world on America's Got Talent, The Champions. They talk about how even legends like Quincy Jones recognized her rare talent. But today, we're not focusing only on the applause. We're focusing on the pressure, the criticism, the expectations, and the silent battles that come with being called a prodigy. Because behind every child star, there is a child growing up under a microscope. And that changes everything. From the moment Angelina stepped onto that stage in Norway, she was not treated like a normal 8-year-old. She wasn't just the kid who can sing. She was called a once-in-a-generation talent, the next jazz legend, a future global superstar. Those titles sound beautiful, but titles are heavy. And when you're still growing, emotionally, mentally, artistically, heavy labels can become pressure. Imagine being 8 years old, and millions of adults are debating your technique, debating your tone, debating your phrasing, debating your style choices. That's not a normal childhood. That's scrutiny. As Angelina grew older, something interesting happened. Her voice matured. Her tone deepened. Her style became more controlled, more deliberate, more artistic. And suddenly, the criticism started. Some people said, she's not as magical as before. She lost the childlike innocence in her voice. She sounds different. But here's what many people don't understand. Of course she sounds different. She's growing up. No voice stays the same from age 8 to 16 to 18. Especially not a voice that developed so early. Vocal cords change. Resonance changes. Breath control changes. Muscle coordination changes. Growth is not decline. Growth is evolution. But the internet doesn't always understand evolution. The internet wants frozen magic. There's also the comparison problem. When someone goes viral as a child, the world mentally freezes that image. So every future performance gets compared to that one performance. For Angelina, that means every new song is compared to I Put a Spell on You. Gloomy Sunday. Her first golden buzzer moment. That's an impossible standard. Because lightning in a bottle moments cannot be recreated on demand. They happen once. And they're powerful because they were unexpected. Another criticism she faced? Style. Angelina has always leaned into jazz, a genre far older than her generation. Some critics argued she should switch to modern pop. Others said she should stay strictly traditional jazz. That creates tension. Do you stay authentic? Or do you chase trends? Many young artists struggle here. But Angelina made a quiet, powerful decision. She chose authenticity. When she released A Million Miles, she didn't suddenly turn into a radio formula pop artist. She kept her emotional tone, her dramatic phrasing, her storytelling approach. That choice may not always lead to viral TikTok trends, but it builds something stronger. Longevity. Then there's the industry silence narrative. Some people ask, if she's so talented, why isn't she everywhere? That question misunderstands how the music industry works. Talent alone does not determine visibility. Marketing budgets do. Label strategies do. Timing does. Market trends do. Angelina signed with Republic Records under Quincy Jones' influence. But even with legendary backing, success is not automatic. The industry is a machine. And sometimes artists are developed slowly, strategically. That doesn't mean failure. It means planning. Now let's talk about something deeper. Identity. Angelina built her identity around being the barefoot girl who sings jazz. But what happens when that little girl becomes a young woman? You evolve. And evolution can confuse audiences. Some fans want her to stay the same forever. But no artist survives by staying frozen. The most successful performers reinvent. Adele evolved. Billie Eilish evolved. Taylor Swift evolved across multiple genres. Growth is uncomfortable. But it's necessary. There's also the emotional cost. Being famous young means you grow up reading comments about yourself. Not just praise. Critique. Speculation. Judgment. Some people question your talent. Some question your authenticity. Some question your career path. And all of that exists permanently online. Most teenagers deal with peer pressure at school. Angelina dealt with global peer pressure. That's a different level. Yet through all of it, she remains calm, composed, reserved. She doesn't respond aggressively to criticism. She doesn't create drama headlines. She doesn't chase controversy for attention. That restraint shows maturity beyond her years. In an era where outrage equals engagement, she chose dignity. That's rare. Another interesting shift is artistic ownership. As a child, adults shape your career. Producers choose songs. Coaches guide style. Teams manage image. As you grow, you want more control. That transition can create tension behind the scenes, something we rarely see publicly. Because artistic independence means you're no longer just the prodigy. You're the creator. And creators take risks. Not every risk goes viral. But risks build legacy. Now let's address the barefoot symbolism. Many people misunderstand it. It wasn't a gimmick. It wasn't marketing. It was a promise. A promise she made as a child after meeting a girl in need, that she would perform barefoot in honor of her. That act became part of her identity. And keeping that promise for years shows consistency of character. In an industry filled with branding strategies, her origin story remains deeply human. So where does this leave Angelina Jordan today? She's no longer just the little girl with the big voice. She's an evolving artist navigating adulthood, industry politics, and public expectation, all at once. That's not easy. But here's what separates her from many child stars. She didn't burn out publicly. She didn't spiral into scandal. She didn't disappear. She transitioned quietly, strategically, patiently. The truth is, the loudest phase of a career is not always the most important. Sometimes the quiet years are where artists build foundations. Skill refinement, songwriting depth, creative independence. We may not see every move, but growth often happens off camera. And maybe that's the real story. Not the viral moments. Not the golden buzzers. Not the standing ovations. But resilience. Resilience against unrealistic expectations. Resilience against comparison culture. Resilience against the pressure of being labeled a prodigy. Because being extraordinary at 8 is impressive. But staying steady at 18? That's strength. So the next time someone says, she was better when she was younger, ask yourself this. Are they measuring magic? Or are they resisting change? Because real artistry is not about staying the same. It's about becoming. And Angelina Jordan is still becoming. Still growing. Still evolving. And that means her story is far from finished. This is not the end of her journey. It may only be the quiet middle. And sometimes, the middle chapters are where legends are truly built. Angelina Jordan's defining era, the album that could change everything. Every artist reaches a moment where talent is no longer the headline. The real headline becomes identity. For Angelina Jordan, that moment is approaching. The world already knows she can sing. From winning Norway's Got Talent at 8 years old to stunning audiences on America's Got Talent, The Champions, she has proven technical control, emotional maturity, and rare tonal depth. But now, the conversation is shifting. The next defining chapter of her career will not be built on covers. It will be built on an album. An album is different from a viral performance. It demands cohesion. It demands narrative structure. It demands vulnerability sustained across multiple tracks. And most importantly, it demands artistic clarity. So what kind of album could redefine Angelina Jordan? First, let's understand her foundation. Angelina's vocal architecture is rooted in jazz phrasing, blues tonality, and classic soul interpretation. Her strength lies in slow-burning emotional delivery, controlled dynamics, and textured lower register resonance. That foundation is powerful, but to create a defining era, she must evolve without abandoning that base. One possible direction is cinematic soul. Imagine a project built around orchestral arrangements, minimal percussion, and atmospheric instrumentation. Strings that swell gradually. Piano-led ballads with subtle modern production layers. Songs that feel like film soundtracks rather than radio singles. This would align perfectly with her controlled softness and emotional storytelling. Another possible direction is modern jazz-pop fusion. This would preserve her phrasing discipline while introducing contemporary textures, light electronic ambience, layered harmonies, restrained drum programming. Not loud. Not aggressive. But current. This path would protect her artistic identity while widening streaming appeal. The critical element is thematic maturity. As a child, she sang songs about heartbreak, longing, and emotional depth. It amazed people because of her age. But now, as an adult, those themes must come from lived experience rather than interpretation alone. Authentic adult storytelling will give her next body of work credibility beyond nostalgia. Themes she could explore include transition, identity, isolation within fame, vulnerability in relationships, and the psychological pressure of growing up in public view. These are not abstract ideas. They are lived realities for artists who began young. If structured correctly, an album built around these themes could reposition her narrative from child prodigy to reflective artist. Now consider production strategy. Because she is signed to Republic Records, she has access to high-level producers and songwriting teams. But the key decision is not access. It is selection. She must collaborate with creatives who understand restraint, producers who appreciate silence, writers who respect minimalism. If she is paired with overly commercial hitmakers chasing chart formulas, her uniqueness could flatten. The strongest move would be curating collaborators known for atmospheric depth rather than mainstream intensity. Live instrumentation will also be crucial. Angelina's voice thrives in organic environments. Real piano. Real strings. Subtle brass sections. These elements amplify authenticity and reduce artificiality. Another defining factor will be visual branding. Her early barefoot symbolism communicated vulnerability and innocence. As she enters adulthood, that symbolism may transform. The aesthetic could mature into something elegant, understated, and timeless. Think minimal color palettes, intimate performance settings, low lighting, emotional close-ups rather than spectacle. This visual restraint would reinforce her sonic identity. There is also a strategic timing component. Releasing an album too quickly could feel premature. Waiting too long could risk losing momentum. The optimal window is when anticipation peaks but before curiosity fades. That balance requires calculated patience. Now let's address risk. Transition albums are dangerous. Many young artists either overcorrect toward commercial pop or retreat too far into niche genres. Either extreme can limit growth. Angelina's challenge is balance. Balance between tradition and modernity. Balance between vulnerability and strength. Balance between silence and presence. If she achieves that equilibrium, the album will not just perform, it will redefine perception. Because ultimately, perception is everything. Right now, many still view her through the lens of her childhood breakthrough. A defining album would reset that lens. It would mark a clear dividing line between early fame and mature artistry. And if executed with intention, it could establish her not just as a remarkable vocalist, but as a serious recording artist capable of longevity. The defining era is not about volume. It is not about chasing trends. It is about clarity. Angelina Jordan has already mastered the power of silence. Now the world is waiting to hear what she chooses to say next. And also, if you enjoy this video, please subscribe and comment for more videos, and please share the video. Thanks for watching. See you in another next video. Peace out.